Buongiorno, welcome back to my channel. Today we have a special edition of testing hyped up niche fragrances. We have 12 new releases that already got a lot of hype. They are viral products that people seem to be obsessed with. So today I'm going to tell you about all these fragrances and if they are worth the hype or not. So if you are curious about Guidance, Love Delight, Narcotic Delight and many other fragrances, and if they are really worth that hype or not, then please keep on watching. Let's start with Initio and Narcotic Delight. This is the newest fragrance, and since it was released, people are really obsessed with this fragrance, and I think I didn't even see one review that spoke badly about this fragrance, or maybe one. This fragrance is so hyped mainly also because it has an interesting note that people seem to absolutely love, me included, and that is cherry. So is Narcotic Delight for you as a cherry fan, and is it worth that hype? Let me tell you. This fragrance opens up so beautifully. It's one of the most gorgeous openings from the Initio line. Now, if you're new to Initio is a line that have great fragrances that are very strong. They are not for the faint of heart. So definitely, if you are new to the niche world, do not just blind buy a fragrance from Initio. You have to test it on your skin. They have a specific base which mainly runs through all of their fragrances. It's Hydian and musk, and it's not for everybody. This space is quite piercing. It's very addictive and very seductive, but it's not for everybody. Some people say that they get a headache from Initio fragrances, and I definitely see that, because if I spray too much of any of the Initios, and I mean too much, more than 3 sprays, I get the same experience. So don't blind buy any of Initio fragrances and definitely test them. And if you are new to the niche world, I didn't recommend particularly Initio as an introduction into this world. That aside, is Narcotic Delight really worth the hype? Is it similar to Side Effect from the same brand? As I said, the base from Initio is almost in all of their fragrances. So the similarities between the two I can definitely see, because they have the same base, but Narcotic Delight is definitely sweeter. You get the cherry in the opening. It's beautiful. Why it may deceive a lot of people in just buying it immediately. In the dry down, Narcotic Delight becomes extremely similar to Side Effect. It's almost like just a little bit of a more complex, more sweet version of Side Effect. So if you love Side Effect and you want something sweeter, definitely Narcotic Delight is for you. But if you really wanted a cherry fragrance, no. This is not a gourmand fragrance. It's not a fragrance that I would say is one of the best cherry fragrances. So if you wanted like a sweet, beautiful cherry, gourmand cherry, this is not for you. I can't say that this is a bad release. This is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is just adjust your expectations when it comes to this fragrance. Do not expect a lot of cherries. Do not expect a gourmand experience. It is sweet, but it's not a gourmand. I definitely prefer other fragrances when it comes to cherry and tobacco, but it's not a bad release. So yeah, a good fragrance, but I think it's overhyped. By the way, if you hear any noise, I'm so sorry, it's my son, he is playing outside. Anyway, let's get to the next fragrance, which is the sister company of Initio, Parfums de Marly. They released last year actually, so it's not really a very new release, but I felt like I need to talk about this fragrance, and it is Althair, I don't know how to pronounce it. This was so hyped. I was about actually to blind buy it because everybody seemed to love it and to be so in love and infatuated with it as a great vanilla fragrance. Now, is the hype real with this one? Let me tell you, I am on the fence. So this is quite a unisex fragrance. It's from the masculine line from Parfums de Marly, but it's definitely a unisex fragrance. Vanilla is definitely very strong here. There is also, I think, praline and cinnamon, but I get mostly in this fragrance ambroxan and elemi. Elemi is one of the notes that I don't like very much, and I don't know, this mix with the ambroxan gives just too much of a synthetic base to this fragrance for me to enjoy it. Is it again a bad release? I would say no, but I have to say I find also this fragrance quite overhyped. It's not a bad, but it's not so amazing, out of this world, especially that this fragrance has a lot of resemblance with a very affordable fragrance. I think it's unfortunately discontinued. It's from Mercedes-Benz and it's Mercedes Black. I have this fragrance and it is an absolutely beautiful vanilla ambery fragrance. It's just one of the best unisex. I know it's targeted to men, but again, it's a unisex fragrance that women can wear without any problem. So I feel like this is a good addition to Parfums de Marly's collection, but it's not something totally new, something that I would say, oh my god, this is so innovative. It's not an out of this world creation. This is what I want to say. It has good longevity and sillage. I mean, Initio and Parfums de Marly have very good projecting and long-lasting fragrances. So performance is not an issue here, but I feel like the scent profile is not so special to deserve that hype. So I am a little bit underwhelmed with this release. It's a good fragrance, but definitely people seemed to overhype. It will be a test of time. And I'm really curious to see if I am going to see this fragrance in the list of top 10 vanilla and top 10 fragrances next year. And please don't feel offended if I don't like these fragrances. I am speaking about my personal experience, my opinion on these fragrances. So feel free to love any of these fragrances. This is just my personal opinion. Next, let's get to Amouage. And we have two releases. One is very recent and the other one is from last year again, but it's so hyped. I was again about to blind buy that fragrance, and it is Guidance. Oh my god, the hype of Guidance was so much. So I was so tempted to blind buy this fragrance, and I'm so happy that I didn't. Sorry, I had to move because of the sun. Yes, I'm so happy that I didn't blind buy this fragrance. Not because it's a bad one. It's actually a fragrance that I'm going to recommend, but it's not a safe blind buy at all. This is from, like, let's say from Amouage fragrances, one of the most easygoing. If you don't know about Amouage, Amouage is a niche brand that is extremely high quality and very niche. What do I mean by that? A lot of their fragrances, or the majority, let's say, of their fragrances is quite challenging. It's not something that you would wear maybe on a daily basis. They definitely have this challenging aspect to them. There is some exceptions, of course, like Lilac Love, like Love Tuberose, mainly in the Secret Garden collection. Guidance, I would say, definitely falls in the more easygoing side of Amouage. And I wonder if Amouage is trying to be more, a little bit mass-pleasing, let's say. Definitely hiring Quentin Biche to create a fragrance definitely signifies to me that they are, you know, trying to be more mass-pleasing, not very authentic or, you know, challenging, niche-like. So let's see the notes on this fragrance. We have incense, we have pear, we have hazelnut, rose, osmanthus, saffron, jasmine, grey amber, vanilla, wood, sandalwood, and cistus labdanum. These notes may differ from Fragrantica. I will leave the notes noted on Fragrantica here. And you know, reading the notes, you would expect a very sweet almost gourmand-like experience, but I was so pleasantly surprised that it's not. So you definitely get the hazelnut, but you also get the smoky touch. You definitely get the sandalwood, the amber. So it's Amouage-like, but still a fragrance that a lot of people may enjoy. The opening is absolutely beautiful. I love the opening. Again, like Narcotic Delight. If you spray this fragrance, you will maybe fall in love with it because of the opening, but wait for the dry down. And the dry down becomes a little bit darker, a little bit more incensey, woody. It does remain with the hazelnut note. The osmanthus is also quite predominant and remains for a long time. But in my experience, I did not enjoy the dry down so much. It was a little bit, how to say, not very comfortable to wear. It has, like all Amouage fragrances, quite a good projection and sillage, which you would look for a fragrance that costs that amount of money, but it's a little bit too much for me. I really like the fragrance, and I have to mention that smelling the fragrance up close is a different experience than smelling it in the air in the sillage. So I am not actually surprised that a lot of people mentioned that people were like chasing them in the street to know what fragrances they are wearing, because in the air it's so beautiful. If you smell it in the air, it's sweet, but not too much. It has this mysterious aspect to it, has this almost alluring effect. But if you smell it up close, and in my case, if you spray it on yourself, I did not like the experience so much. So it's a fragrance that I love to smell, maybe on other people, but me wearing it, not so much. So I read also the reviews on Fragrantia. A lot of people didn't actually like this fragrance. It seems like a fragrance that has more of a unanimous experience on YouTube, but not so much when we speak about Fragrantica reviews. As I said, it's definitely one of the most mass-pleasing fragrances. Not the most, but one of the most mass-pleasing scents from Amouage. And it's different. It's very different. So that explains maybe this experience of chasing people to know what fragrances they are wearing. So my recommendation would be the following. Don't blind buy this fragrance. Test it on your skin and see how your experience is. And test it on your skin more than once and see. For me, it's a good, unique fragrance and a good introduction again into the niche world, because it has this quirky, maybe challenging aspect, but it has also a lot of mass-pleasing, beautiful notes in it. So I really appreciate the creation. I really appreciate the art behind this fragrance, but me personally, I'm going to pass on Guidance from Amouage. Now let's get to the next one, again from Amouage, and it's Love Delight. So Love Delight definitely confirmed my thoughts that Amouage is trying to go on a mass-pleasing route. And I'm not mad about it, honestly, because they are still creating unique, high-quality scents. So Love Delight maybe didn't get so much hype like Guidance, but again, it's a new release. So maybe wait for it and they will hype this fragrance. When I first smelled this one, I was not impressed, let me say. And to my nose, this is a boozy heliotrope. If you love heliotrope, you will love this fragrance. Heliotrope is a flower that has a powdery aspect without the sharpness of like iris and violet, and has also like this nutty, almondy feeling to it. So the experience of this fragrance is like almost a gourmand floral, and it's a very, very unique scent. So you have here notes of cacao, rum, vanilla, and I definitely get the vanilla. I'm not getting a lot of cacao actually. I am really, really loving the experience in this fragrance. It's a very, very unique floral fragrance. If you love florals with a touch of gourmand, you are okay with booziness, because the booziness here is quite high. This is why It reminds me a little bit of Blossom Love, where it has this floral aspect, but also some gourmand notes. It's a beautiful, beautiful creation. But again, please don't blind buy this fragrance. It's not for everybody. It's a fragrance that you definitely have to try on your skin. And yes, by the way, Guidance, you have to try on your skin. Do not try Guidance on a blotter, on a paper, because the experience is totally different. When I sprayed Guidance on the paper, I was like, oh my God, what is this? I couldn't smell really any of these gorgeous notes. When I sprayed it on skin, it came alive and I could smell why people are so obsessed with it. So this fragrance I would recommend, but I would not recommend to blind buy it. If you are an absolute lover of heliotrope and you want a different take on that flower, you want something of a gourmandy heliotrope, then yes, this fragrance is definitely for you. When it comes to performance, it's not the best performing fragrance from Amouage if we speak about the whole brand, but it has a good longevity. So it remained for about 6-7 hours and projected, I would say, moderate to strong. It's not a screamer. It's not your, you know, I am here, look at me kind of a fragrance. So yeah, that was Love Delight from Amouage. Now let's get to the newest release from Kilian, and it is Sunkissed Goddess. Now I didn't smell the way you love, or I don't remember now the name, I will leave it down here, that came out last year, because everyone is saying it's an absolute replica of that one. That is not available if I'm not mistaken. So maybe they just changed the name. I don't know. I can't say anything because I didn't smell that fragrance. But let me tell you about Sunkissed Goddess. Oh, am I obsessed with this fragrance. Let's speak first about the scent profile. This is so gorgeous. If you love tropical yellow flower, this creamy but not too much vacation resort like fragrances, oh my God, you cannot go wrong with this one. This is amazing. Love at first sniff for me. And I was so shocked because the notes of this fragrance do not, you know, really impress me by any means. So we have tiare flower, we have coconut, two of the notes that I would definitely avoid. So it has the monoi notes, so the monoi feeling and smell, but it's done in such a way that makes it fresh, classy. You get also the ylang ylang, so the sweetness of the ylang ylang. It's so, so gorgeous. I smelled a lot of fragrances that have this kind of scent profile, also these kind of notes, and I was almost repulsed by them because I am a person that do not love overly coconutty, overly scent and lotion, if you will, fragrances that are too dense. They just suffocate me, especially during summer. But oh my God, am I obsessed with this scent. It has this freshness I feel comes from the neroli note. And I'm again not a fan of neroli at all, but it just works here. Ah, Cali Becker, one of my favorite perfumers, did a great job in doing a fresh, classy, tropical fragrance that smells familiar but still has something different. Absolutely gorgeous, but paying such an amount of money for this fragrance, for a 50 ml, it's not even 75, it's 50 ml for Kilian fragrances, it's just outrageously expensive for what this smell is. I'm not saying that I smelled anything that can compare to it. As I said, definitely the rest that have the same notes feel cheaper, definitely. I'm not going to lie. But still, paying that amount of money? So, I would say this fragrance gets a thumb up from me. only in the case that you do not care about price tag, or you are a fan of Kilian. Maybe you love Kilian in particular and you want something tropical from the brand, or you can get it on a great price. Yes, definitely, definitely I would recommend this fragrance, even if you are like me and you are not like really a tropical fragrance kind of a girl. I would say try this one because it's absolutely stunning, and it also develops so beautifully on the skin. I can't lie, it just smells heavenly. So if it wasn't for the price tag, this fragrance would be already in my collection, definitely. So yeah, that was Sunkissed Goddess from Kilian. Since we talked about tropical fragrances, let's move to a fresh summer fragrance. This is Ingenious Ginger from Goldfield and Banks. Oh, it's so good. Again, this is a fragrance that took me by surprise because recently I'm quite disappointed with the releases of Goldfield and Banks. I really liked the brand. It was actually one of my first buying guides that I did. I will leave it linked down below. It definitely needs to be updated because they released since then a lot of new fragrances. But I was really underwhelmed with a lot of them, actually all of them. This is an exception. This is such a beautiful, zingy, fresh summer fragrance. Oh my god, it's so special. Yes, there is the ginger. Oh, it's so beautiful. And ginger can be a little bit challenging for me because it's just too piercing again. It's almost like a lemon ginger juice. And so imagine yourself in this beautiful lush garden. You have these flowers around you. You can smell them and you are drinking this beautiful ginger lemon shot. Oh, this is how this fragrance smells. It's so refreshing, so beautiful, very unisex. As someone who loves fresh summer fragrances, I fell in love with Ingenious Ginger. It's already on my wish list. This is not an expensive brand. Get yourself Ingenious Ginger. It's worth the hype, worth the money, and also has good performance when it comes to citrusy fragrance. It's not a screamer again. It's not extremely long lasting, which is something that you would expect from citrusy fragrances. So it has a solid, moderate longevity and sillage. But again, I am not an oversprayer. So maybe if you overspray, you can get to a more projection and a more long-lasting performance. So for me, this fragrance gets a thumb up for sure. Now let's get to L'Eau Papier from Diptyque. Again, I was so intrigued that I was about to get myself a bottle. I found this great deal on L'Eau Papier and I was about to buy it, and like it was in the same almost hour that I was considering buying this fragrance that I got the package with the sample, and I'm so happy that I didn't blind buy this one. Now remember that I am a lover of musky skin scents that smell clean. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I absolutely adore these kind of scents, even if they are not projecting or long lasting. And this was a big disappointment for me. What really intrigued me about this fragrance, that I felt like it will distinguish this one from any other clean, fresh, musky scents or even molecular scents, is the rice note. And I was really looking forward to this note in this fragrance. But let me tell you, it's almost not there. So I get the rice note, not in the opening, but in the mid dry down, you get the rice note. And I was like, oh yes, this is exactly what I expected. This is what I wanted. I'm not saying that I wanted like a strict rice fragrance, but I felt like a combination of rice with this musky clean scent will make it very comfortable. But unfortunately it doesn't last. I don't mean about the fragrance because it doesn't last. This is a very light fragrance. But even the rice note doesn't last. I tried it on my skin. I tried it on paper. I tried it more than once and it doesn't work. I just can't get the rice note. I know that a lot of people say that they really can smell the rice note, but I just don't know. Is it my skin? Is it my nose? I don't know. The rice note is very fleeting. It's there only in the mid-dry downs for maximum half an hour, and it's gone. And also the fragrance is extremely light. Very, very light experience, which I don't mind. But give me something special. I don't know, please tell me in the comments down below. Do you get the rice note in this fragrance, and for how long? What is your experience with this fragrance in general? Because I feel like it's only me that has this kind of experience with Le Papier. So the jury is out there. So I would say, if you love these kind of scent profiles, just this fragrance. If you are not a fan of musky, fresh, clean fragrances, and also you don't like these skin scents or scents that you put for, you know, to go to bed or something like that, then just avoid this one, because it's definitely exactly that. So this fragrance for me personally did not work, but I'm so curious to see your comments down below and your experience with this one. Next we have Saint-HONORE from BDK. Now, I heard a lot about this fragrance and that it resembles like Parisian chic, and I agree. This is a fragrance that I would envision on someone who is into the clean girl aesthetic, chic, classy, everyday, an everyday kind of a scent. Someone who really doesn't need to impress you. It's a fragrance that you would wear for yourself. But I feel like it's not doing much in the sense that it's very generic. I feel like I've smelled something similar. I don't know, it feels like a designer fragrance, honestly, so it doesn't give me a niche vibe. It's again like a Le Papier, it's more of a light experience, something that you would wear for the office maybe, or going to bed, an everyday scent, just to feel a little bit, you know, clean, put together. I know there is oud in the notes, and you get, when you know, put your nose to the tester, you can get a little bit of a woody aspect in the opening, but it does dissipate. It doesn't really help with longevity or sillage. It's a very, very light skin scent fragrance. So I would recommend only this fragrance if you are a BDK fan and you want a clean, fresh, musky scent from the brand, and this is it. Honestly, this fragrance gets a thumb down for me. Now let's get to a Tom Ford fragrance, and this one got hyped, but also a lot of people were disappointed with it. So it got mixed reviews, and it is Vanilla Sex. Now this fragrance, I am trying to describe it without being or without using particular words. So when you first spray this fragrance, you will get a lot of this marzipan-y feeling. It's almondy, a little bit bitter. So it has a little bit of a bitter almond, but also sweet almond because of the vanilla. And you get also a little bit like something strange. Let me say that. So this fragrance uses 3 types of vanilla. 2 are natural ones, and 1 is a synthetic note called, let me see what it's called, Ultra Vanille, which helps to enhance the vanilla in a fragrance. And I guess this is what I feel like is a little bit strange. Like, I can smell vanilla, but there is something different. And I feel like this is why people got really upset with this fragrance. Either because they were expecting a gourmand vanilla, like really sweet vanilla, and they didn't expect this almondy touch. And others smelled this ultra vanilla and felt like it just smells strange. Now, my personal experience with this fragrance is quite different in the opening than in the dry down. In the opening, yeah, I got almond, I got vanilla. Yeah, as I said, something strange, but I was not really impressed because I am not a lover of overly gourmand fragrances, as you all know. However, the dry down, how can I put it? It smells, let me say, the name is quite fitting. And I don't mean that it's a sexy fragrance. I mean, this smells like the name. Yeah, I'm so sorry, but this is what I experienced with this fragrance, which is quite disturbing in a way for me, but at the same time, it's sensual, let's say, to say the least. So yeah, Vanilla Sex is a fragrance that you should definitely try on your skin. Not to fall for either opinions. Wait to smell it a little bit in the outside. So go outside, smell the fragrance, because when you get whiffs of it, you will understand what I mean. Now, would I recommend it? I don't know. It's not a fragrance that I can recommend or not. It's definitely very unique. Very unique. I've never smelled a fragrance that smells like that. It's not exactly a fragrance that you would fall for if you are a vanilla kind of girl, because the vanilla here is quite, you know, mixed with almond, a little bit different, let's say, different vanilla. So my final judgment, this fragrance gets a thumb up for me because of the uniqueness. It's something definitely new. Is it worth that price tag? Honestly, any of Tom Ford fragrances deserves that amount of money at all. And I'm saying that as someone who has a few fragrances from Tom Ford, but the price tag now even is just not worth it. Next we have the newest release from Gritti, and it's called Mango Aoud. And it's exactly that. It's a combination of oud, so this woody, deep fragrance with a very fresh, very authentic smelling mango. It smells like mango skin. And I'm not talking about the perfume mango skin, I'm talking about the real fruit. It's so beautiful. My problem with mango fragrances, fruity fragrances in general, that they are overly synthetic, and let's be more honest here, especially Italian brands are using too much of the synthetic fruitiness. This doesn't smell synthetic. Of course, yeah, I'm not saying 100%, but the mango note is to die for here. To die for. It's not too sweet. Find that the oud with mango works beautifully, which was a big surprise for me. Performance is great. The mango note remains till the dry down. It is fresh. I can even see me wearing this fragrance during summer, which is quite something. I have no words for how beautiful this fragrance is. Is it for anyone? No, but if you are looking for a good mango fragrance, get yourself this one. It's so good. I actually did a first impression on Gritti. I will leave it linked down below. I don't know if I will upload it before or after this video, so if I didn't upload it yet, please stay tuned for an overview or a first impression of Gritti fragrances. Next we have Eau Féminine or Féminin. I mean, I am really bad in French, sorry. And this is an orange blossom fragrance. Do we need another orange blossom fragrance? No. But this one is really good. And I would say it's my favorite orange blossom fragrance, which says a lot. It is fresh, so it has a sweet, like natural smelling orange blossom with some vanilla. You get also the green touch, and this is why I don't like orange blossom fragrances. Actually, I don't like this green sweetness that's going on here, but it just works here. It's mixed also with some jasmine, which I can get maybe a little bit, some vanilla, some sandalwood, some musk, and just ignores notes. This is for me an ultra feminine, Parisian-like woman. I don't know. I just feel like this is so French, so chic, so ethereal and beautiful. This gets a definite thumb up from me. If you are looking for an orange blossom fragrance that is not sweet, is not like screaming, you know, I am here, look at me, like Fleur Narcotic honestly is one of these that are very loud, at least in the opening. Yeah, I can't believe that I am so in love with an orange blossom fragrance actually. Again, spoiler, it's on my wish list. This is how much I love it. And if you don't know me, I have maybe 2 orange blossom fragrances in my huge collection, and one of them may be decluttered soon. So you can see that me loving this fragrance says a lot. And MICALLEF, you did it. This is a very, very beautiful scent. If you love orange blossom, you want a fresh orange blossom, you want a fragrance that just exudes femininity. All Feminine is definitely for you, and the price is right, honestly. So yeah, it checks all the boxes. This gets a thumb up from me. Next we have Kayali, and it's not what you are thinking. It's not smoky wood. This is the previous one, Kayali Eden Lychee 39. No, I don't know why people are obsessed with this fragrance. I mean, I can get it because it's a scent profile that people would love. But even, you know, thinking objectively, this is something that you, I don't know, you would smell in Bath & Body Works, Victoria's Secret, you know. It doesn't smell like a fragrance. It smells like a body splash. It smells cheap, actually. A generic, sweet, fruity fragrance, but nothing special. And I was, you know, looking forward actually for this release in particular, not because I love lychee, but the note structure inspired me somehow. You have blackcurrant, which I love. You have red apple, again, a note that I love. Vanilla, sandalwood, musk, jasmine. I felt like this is a fragrance that I would love. But no, I am not impressed at all. So yeah, I didn't feel like it's something special that it deserves, you know, to be in this beautiful bottle, because I love the bottle, I love the color of the bottle, but the juice is not it actually. So yeah, I will be in the minority here and say this does not get a thumb up, and I would not recommend Kayali Eden Lychee 39. And with that, I finished all the fragrances that I've tested. Tell me in the comments down below, did you test any of these fragrances? What is your experience? Especially I am so curious about L'Eau Papier in particular. And also, what is your experience with Guidance and Love Delight? I feel like these 3 in particular will really depend on the person's skin and experience, or maybe where they live, etc. So looking forward to see your comments down below. I did also a video on the designer new releases, which I will leave linked down below. And sorry if you love any of these fragrances. Again, this is my personal experience, my personal opinion. I feel like these kind of videos can be quite unpopular and controversial. I hope I didn't offend anyone. Please remember that fragrances are subjective. This is my point of view, and if you love any of these fragrances, please continue to love them and tell me in the comments down below your experience with them. I hope you liked this special edition of Testing Hyped Up Niche Fragrances. I will leave down below the playlist of this series. Usually I don't go through new releases so quickly, so I usually speak about fragrances that are hyped for quite a long time, let's say. But if you are curious about them, I will leave them linked down below. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you next time. Ciao.